Yes, we are live.
We shall start then.
Yeah, you can
Thank
start.
you.
Yeah, you can start.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session, the regular Sunday series of webinars that Anajuri as a team has been hosting for the last several months. And I, along with my co-host, Pooja, I'm Meenakshi at this end. We would like to welcome you for today's session. We have been hosting the education's webinar every Sunday. And like most of you must be knowing, we have, as a team, Anajuri has been making efforts to build a network and enrich as a knowledge platform, trying to basically connect with grassroots workers mainly. And this is a not-for-profit organization, a trust basically that has been since the lockdown started. So we have been trying to host various webinar series, and we've been inviting a range of speakers, and it has been a quite a hit, I must say, in terms of how much people have the response that we have received so far. And in the past, we've mostly been having speakers who are working at the level of policy. We have invited, I mean, particularly speaking for the education webinar series, we've invited entrepreneurs focusing on the subject matter of education. We have also had a lot of grassroots workers working in the area of education, founding members of several organizations. But this evening is something really special because the speaker that we have for this evening is somebody who's really different from the regular speakers that we've been having. Hello, is the audio okay, Priyanshu?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I could just hear echoes. Sorry. So I'm very happy to have a very special guest amongst us today. And she is someone who is at an age when perhaps most of, uh, her friends or people of her age would be perhaps busy in social media or, uh, in the basic, very regular world of gadgets and gizmos, or perhaps running from one coaching center to the other and going for tuition, school, all of that. But our guest today is someone who has, very interestingly, never had formal education in that sense. She's never gone for any institutional learning. And she is, I'm very happy to welcome Shamli Manasvi, who is a 17-year-old self-designed learner from Himachal Pradesh. Shamli is an artist, a writer, a mathematics geek, and a game designer. She also likes to call herself a dreamer. She loves to cook and bake bread and brownies, also learns the tabla and flute, solves crosswords and puzzles, and she is also very interested in fixing electrical stuff around her house and enjoys driving, also teaching her friends how to drive a car, amongst a lot of other things that Shamli is interested in doing. And also, we are joined along with Shamli by two of her other friends. One of them is Aloka, who is 13 years old. Aloka has also been homeschooled since 2017. And along with Aloka, we have Maahir with us today. And Maahir has been homeschooled since his 4th grade. Maahir also lives in Himachal. He loves playing the tabla and drums. So I'm really very excited this panel amongst us today. So welcome all three of you, Shamli, Aloka, and Maahir. So just a few ground rules before we get started on the session. We generally try to keep it multilingual. We will try to translate some of your, whatever you say in the local language, if possible. You're also absolutely free to speak in Hindi or any other language. And so once we have your talk, we will then open up the house for questions. Yeah, over to you, Shamli. Thank you so much.
I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
We have all three of us have some pictures to show. So these are the three of us, Maahir, me, and Aloka. We'll start with me. I have some photos to share of things I like to do. And so one thing I really like is art. These are some of the drawings I made maybe a year ago. I use these cards are each maybe about the size of a business card. and I like to draw maybe a girl in different sorts of ways. Then this is a small notebook that I have, and this is some pages of the notebook. I like to draw little characters doing all sorts of different things. And then all of my drawings, I put up an exhibition of all of my art. So on the right side is the poster of the exhibition, and on the left side is this is what the exhibition looked like. It was a local art gallery, and I put up all my artwork there. Another thing I enjoy is looking at things through a microscope. So on the right side is a sort of bug that you find on nasturtium plants. And on the left side is mold that I found on a papaya that was rotting in my fridge. I also like to design games. One of my most popular games that my family, my friends, and other people. It's called Urte Sitare, and it's a math game. I really enjoy math as well. I also teach. I really enjoy it. So this is a picture from my classroom that I worked with these students for 2 years. They were primary, so say first to third grade. I was working with first to third grade, and I designed a lot of games, designed curriculum, activities, puzzles, and all sorts of things for them. And this is a picture of me sharing my experiences as a teacher, as a self-designed learner, as a student with other students at an event in Delhi. And now over to Maahir. Maahir, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, okay. So I play the tabla and the drums. As you already know, we live in Himachal. I have homeschooled for about 4.5, 5 years now. And I also like to read books, and I do pottery as well.
Okay. Aloka, would you like to say something?
So I'm 12 years old. I love baking. I also play the tabla. And I've been homeschooling for almost 4 years, I think. Yeah, 4 years. And I just love animals, dogs, nature. I enjoy it.
And K-pop.
And K-pop.
Yes,
That's wonderful.
so I think these are all the photos that we have of us.
That's wonderful that all of you have shared this journey. So my first question, starting from Shamli, then we can go to Alok, then we can go to Maahir. Where did the decision of homeschool started for each one of you? Whether it was a self-discovery to your schooling experience. I think in case of Alok and Maahir, I think you have gone to school initially. Yeah, so you can share like your self journey, why you all have decided to, homeschool. So let's start with Shamli.
So I have never been to school. I've been homeschooled my entire life. So of course it was not my decision to start with. It was my parents' decision because the way they wanted me to learn didn't match the way learning happened in schools. So they decided that I'll stay at home and study in all sorts of different ways. So for me, it wasn't my decision, but of course now I completely, at this age, when I have that thought, I think it's a great decision, and I'm very glad that this is the way it happened. Aloka, would you like to share?
So I went to school till the third grade. But then after that, my mom realized that that's not a very nice way of learning in the school. So it was a very hard decision for her to think about it. She was in two minds. But with help from a few friends, she had the time to think about it. And then she asked me also that, do you want homeschool? I was like, yeah, I'm so happy. I would love not to go to school and just be at home. So I was pretty happy. Still am.
So what were the sorts of things that that your mom thought weren't good in school, or what made you want to not go to school?
I didn't like going to school because because you have to, like, it's like one after the another, this class, that class. You don't get any time to yourself or to anybody. Like, it was very, busy schedule. So, and if I used to talk to my friends in class, teachers would be like, don't talk to each other, it's not nice, like, keep your head down, all that stuff. So my mom, I'm sure, had her own reasons, but
Maahir?
Okay, so I went to school till the fourth grade, and I used to go to a really nice school. I mean, I didn't like going to school, but compared to other schools, it was a nice school. This was in Delhi. But when we moved to Himachal, there was not many nice schools around the area where we were moving. So we decided to try homeschooling, and yeah.
Pooja, are you
Hello?
there? Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone have their own reasons. So like initially जब आप लोग ने school मतलब home schooling के decision लिया है, so how did you figure out कि क्या पढ़ना है या कैसे पढ़ना है? How did your parents and you all made it work for you? Start from the initial timing, like आप okay for Shamli, parents have been involved since day one, and for Alok and Maahir. So how did you along with your parents decided कि okay हमें ऐसे करना है, क्या करना है? What were the groundworks that you did?
So when I was younger, we had more goal setting. Sort of, I would make a daily list of things that I want to do today. And since I was young, I didn't know all the types of things I could learn. So my parents had more input there, that maybe you can try this, maybe you could read this book, write about this. They gave more input into my daily goal setting. And they sort of gave me ideas of what all there are things that I can learn rather than just me. But as I grew up, I found ways to find out about the different things that I can learn and things that I want to learn, things that I want to spend more time in. So as I grew up, it came more into my head how I want to structure my day, what sort of things I want to do. But when I was younger, it was definitely, there was a lot of input from my parents. They never told me what to do, but they gave me ideas and nudged me and encouraged me to do different sorts of things.
Yeah, just Shamili, I want to know. This is very interesting. Even your parents said like they never forced you. But the thing is that you were quite young to understand कि क्या पढ़ना है, क्या नहीं करना है. So how did you get into that decision making process कि okay आज मुझे यही करना है? You need to have certain kind of idea about what you want to do. So how did that come about?
So I think I've always been interested in learning new things, interested in that. So although I didn't decide maybe fully that I want to do this, my parents would encourage me, give me the ideas that maybe you can try this book, maybe if you want to read this. And I was interested in doing new things. So they just sort of came into the way I learned. And they were always doing all sorts of things. They work in math and science. They read a lot of books. So what they do also is things that interest me as well, since they're my parents. So of course, whatever they do, I would like to do that too. So that's sort of, when I was younger, it was more that way. Now it's, I decide most of my things. Aloka, would you like to also share about how you?
yeah, so my mom decided what I had to study. Still, actually, no, actually now I decide. So I used to study from NCERT books, and my mom would tell me that you should study. She wouldn't say you should study. It was my choice what I wanted to do that day. It's totally up to me. So I used to study something this day, something the other day, and then as I grew up, I got more. I felt the need to make a timetable because I wanted my day to be more organized. So I liked it that way. So I made a timetable. So I studied 2 to 3 hours a day, and uh, these days I'm also learning two languages, German and Korean. So those are my newer interests. Yeah.
Okay. So when I started homeschooling, like right in the beginning, my school used to use I think CBSE or ICSE books, a certain mix, I think, of the two. So we just kept getting books of higher grades in the same series. So for 1 or 2 years, I continued with that, but now I've slowly like started getting um, stuff from everywhere. So like now I have IGCSE, CBSE a little bit, ICSE a little bit, um, and lots of other books that like I'm not sure if they qualify as any of these categories, but like different books, exercise books.
And the things that you're learning, are you enjoying them?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting actually, the three of your responses. So we've been actually touching upon a lot of, what we study in school about books and how you manage your time and all of that. But don't you think, I mean, school is also something where it's a very important institute for us to socialize, to meet people, to learn a lot of social behavior. So is by any chance, do you think there are several aspects that somebody who is homeschooling would miss out on, or rather, what has been your experience? You sometimes feel that this is what I would have enjoyed. Maybe if I got a chance to do this, since I don't get to do it now because I am not into a formal school, I miss this aspect of going to a school. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think definitely there are things that we miss out on by not going to school. But then those that are going to school are also missing out on things that we have. For example, we have a lot of time to do things that we enjoy other than the tight schedule of the school. So I think both ways we are missing out on something, but
Right.
there is no option where you can't miss out on anything. No matter what you do, you'll miss out on something or the other. And I think for me, one thing I definitely have missed out on since I've never been to school is that the peer community, peer learning, which is why I'm looking forward to going to college at some point. And Maahir, what about you?
Um. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't get to do any group learning when I homeschool, but like socializing, I have lots of friends who I go to play with for 2 to 3 hours every day. So I mean, socially, I'm taken care of. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's very interesting, Mahir. So, like, the friends whom you interact on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, what do they think about your homeschooling situation? How do they react to it?
Well, we don't really talk a lot about homeschooling and school and stuff. We talk more about games and sports and stuff.
Initially, what was it initially like? Was there I mean, what was the response like? What
Oh.
were people taken aback when they heard that you homeschool?
A little bit. So first they didn't understand it, and then they were asking like,
Right.
where you take your exams from?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get it all from your laptop, or how does it work? Yeah, but now they
Okay.
understand.
Now they understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Aloka, would you share something?
You're muted, Aloka.
Aloka?
You're muted. Yeah.
Oh,
You muted.
how am I muted?
No?
Yeah,
Can you
now,
hear me?
now we can hear. Yes.
Yeah.
So my friends, when I told them that I'm homeschooling, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I also want to homeschool. You're so lucky." So I think for my friends were really supportive. They're very supportive of me. But the elders, like grown-ups, some of them are like a bit skeptical about like how is the child gonna learn anything, or weird questions. So my mom's had to fight a lot of those questions.
Okay. So, is your mom near you?
Yeah, she's right here.
Right here.
Yeah. Hello,
Hi.
auntie. Yeah. So, just popping to you one question. So, we have heard what Aloka has said. Like, how did the homeschooling idea came to you? Was it because you shifted from somewhere else, or like you were not happy with the environment, or like you felt homeschooling will give you more, like the enhancement of their learning process?
I'm a learning professional myself, and I have an older son who went through schooling in Singapore. And I'm a single mother and was working long hours. Never occurred to me to doubt anything about schools. I did pretty well in school, and I think I did pretty well in life as a result. So I had no reason to doubt. And I came here to India in 2013, and soon after began teaching village kids, and loved doing it. That was totally my own voluntary work. Then I went to my daughter's school. Once they asked me to teach, because I saw that teachers were pronouncing words incorrectly. Also, they asked for my help, and they also asked for my help to teach class 5 kids to speak in English when they go for interviews for class 6, because it was a primary school and they had to change schools. So it's only when I taught the students in their school, I realized a huge difference between the kids I was teaching in the village, in the government schools, and the school. It was like a small town school, a private medium, so to say. And I saw something, and it really bothered me a lot. And I think that's where my doubts started happening, because Aloka was in class 3 at that time, and I said, "Oh my God!" By the time she's in class 5, it's very difficult to explain in a short way, so I won't talk too much. But my experience of teaching her school kids was a big motivator. Plus, I knew Shamli very well. I knew Shamli's parents. So the thought was already in my mind, but I always thought it's not possible for me, because I didn't think I had it in me to teach Aloka. It's only when I experience the kind of teaching that happened in schools there is when the change happens. And then I went to this LSUC conference where I met a lot of homeschooling parents and students. And that's when I said, I'll take the leap. And like Aloka said, I had to face, luckily for me, my mother, who's the only other member of the family here, was pretty supportive. But the rest of the family, anyway, thinks I'm a little off my rocker. So they thought I was doing something very wrong, and I was destroying my daughter's future. And it was pretty tough to deal with that till I just decided to deal with that. I mean, till I just decided to have a thick skin and say, look, I'm happy. My daughter's happy. The changes in her are so great that, the doubts went away. I mean, after 6 months, within 6 months, I wouldn't be bothered if anybody said anything to me or thought we were doing something wrong. Socializing is a very important part. I think Aloka should have answered it. Aloka, you want to talk about it? You miss friends? Come on, it's your talk, not mine. Yeah.
Friends. So I had a few friends when I was in school. So I got so those are they're still my very, very close friends. And we went for this LSUC thing. Over there I made friends. So I have social life also, so I can make friends if I want to.
Even for me, I would say, even though I haven't been to school, I guess I'm lucky to also live in. So after school, I play football, other things. So I do have a social circle, definitely.
Yeah, could you just talk a little more about your social circle and how do you, your extracurricular? So I understand that, Shamli, you're based out of a rural setting right now. What about Aloka and Maahir?
Likewise.
Where? Okay, all right. Okay. Could you just talk about your social life and what you do other than, homeschooling, other than what you do online and other stuff?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Maahir.
I mean, I do sports, I do pottery, I play instruments, but pottery is kind of stopped a little bit because of the coronavirus. We can't go to the studio anymore. So, but we're thinking about resuming in some time because and I think I mostly play sports and read books when I'm not studying.
And do your friends live nearby?
Yeah, very close. About 100 meters away.
Yeah, I think all of us live in small places.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys meet each other? Do you guys meet each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Not that much now, especially
because of Corona.
Yeah.
Aloka, would you like to come in?
Oh yeah, sure. What was the question? Sorry.
About your social life, what do you do other than, studies and stuff like that?
So I also love to read. I love reading, and I love my tabla. It's like I'm in a new world when I'm playing it, and I have a very big craze, for languages. So that's I'm learning Korean and German.
So you're learning Korean and German now. Okay. So we just have to definitely address the elephant in the room, which is coronavirus. And so There has been a major change in how we are all grappling with this new reality, particularly when we talk of education. Students having to really shift from the physical learning space and having to adjust through a digital platform. But for the three of you, you have already been doing this for quite some time now. So has anything changed for you, or what has been your experience? Would you like to say something about this current reality that we are all grappling with?
I would say the only big thing that's changed is outings with friends, say going anywhere with my friends, or even going out of Himachal. I think that's the biggest thing that has changed. But otherwise, for me, I still meet friends. I'm in a village, so I go on a walk, meet people within the village. So not much has changed, I would say. But obviously now a lot of things happen through Zoom for me. But not too much, luckily. Maahir, do you want to add?
Um, yeah, so, well, we don't eat out as much. Anyway, we don't eat out because this is a very small place and there's not many places to eat out. So now we don't eat out at all. And because of the coronavirus, I think there's lots of people who are doing meetings in Zoom. So like there's lots of content around, like universities making lots of Zoom sessions for different topics. So yeah, I guess I have more content now to study.
Aloka?
For me, honestly, it's been more, my day has become more scheduled. I can like control my day now. Study wise, nothing has changed. I'm still studying like 2 to 3 hours every day.
And friends?
Oh yeah, friends. Oh my god, I miss them so bad. But what to do?
Aloka, I found very interesting when you said like you schedule your day. It's much more scheduled in COVID times, which is like almost the antithesis of most of the people around the world. When you say schedule, so how do you see your day once you wake up?
Okay, so I wake up around 7:30. I just stretch a little bit. I read my book. After that, I eat. I eat. Oh yeah. So I eat breakfast at 9:30 whatever, and then I study for 2 hours, and then I have lunch. And sorry, I forgot the most important. So first I have like either tabla class or German class. So it's like an alternate dayish thing. Then I study, and then I have my lunch, and then I carry on with my day normally.
I want to know if you would like to say something to children who are currently finding it very difficult to. I wouldn't say this is homeschooling, but the manner in which things have unfolded in the last several months, and everyone being stuck in their homes, and how they are uh, managing to do online classes, and this entire shift to the digital platform. So, do you have anything to say to children who are making a complete shift to a different idea of education, if I can say?
Honestly, I don't know what I can say because everyone is in a different situation. Like some people don't even have phones to call the teachers or whatever. Some do, but they're too lazy. So it's like all different situations. It's hard to say.
I think it's especially hard for people in big cities who live in apartments where there are people everywhere, so it's unsafe everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Shamli, I just want to come and say, like you talked about going to school, like college, once like, you're done with your current time. So I want to know, like, to get into conventional school or, educational institution, you need to clarify certain benchmark. Just say class 10 ka exam bolo, class 12 ka bolo. So what is your situation right now? So like what you have done to clear those benchmark to get into कॉलेज एंड लाइक सबसे बड़ी बात होती है कि जब आप कॉलेज में जाते हो तो दे विल आस्क यू अबाउट योर नेम ऑफ द स्कूल, यू नो, नेम ऑफ योर हायर सेकेंडरी, कौन सा बोर्ड से आपने दिया है. सो हाउ डू यू क्लैरिफाई दोस बेंचमार्क्स?
Yeah. So I gave from Cambridge board, I gave my 10th exam a while ago, maybe a year or two ago. And I gave 11th grade exams early this year in February. And so a Cambridge board has this idea of having a private candidate. So you can register as not through a school, but through a private candidate. And then you choose a school, and whenever the exam happens, you just go to the school and give the exam. So for 10th, I did that. For 11th, I did that. I had 12th exams scheduled, but they all got cancelled. So whenever things open, I would hopefully do that. So yes, I do have a sort of a plan of how I would do that, because most colleges require you to have a 12th grade certificate.
That's great. So another question, Shamli, when it comes to you, so do you have any prescribed syllabus to where you when you give your exams, or like you do your own study and you can how does it work, like when you give these examinations?
Yeah, the exam actually, Cambridge board that I did, they have their own textbooks. Cambridge University Press prints their textbooks. So I have those. That's the main syllabus to complete. But I would say I was able to fully grasp all of that knowledge because of my previous experiences. I sort of grew up in a math and science family. So
Yeah.
all of that put together, and then the syllabus put together was.
So
the
you
total.
have you have a standardized syllabus for which you give your exam, but your learning is additional to what the prescribed syllabus is out there, right?
I would maybe flip it around, that the syllabus is additional to whatever I'm learning.
That's a good way of putting it. And what are Aloka and Mahir's plan? Like, how do you plan to give your exams, or like, do you have any plan in that way?
Yeah, I plan to give my 10th grade exam in the IGCSE board, so I'm currently studying that. Shamli gave me some books, so I don't have all the books, but I'm studying some of the subjects that I have chosen. We just have to finalize the subjects. Yeah.
Aloka?
So I will eventually, I would like to give the 12th exam thing to get into college. So I'm going to do that.
So, which class are you you're doing right now?
I'm
Aloka.
in 7th right now.
Okay, so you don't plan to give for 10th, like you'll be going for class 12.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And actually, one thing that happens in homeschooling is you change your plans a lot as you go. Sometimes when I was younger, I thought I don't want to go to college, but plans change quite a lot. Maybe you reach this grade, you decide you want to give an exam, but later you decide you don't want to. So I think that happens a lot, changing of plans.
Right. You just mentioned about going to college and, change of plans. So my question is, since the three of you have been homeschooling, and now at some point you're perhaps thinking of, enrolling yourself into some course in some college. So is there some kind of maybe some apprehension or some fear, because you will finally be enrolled into an institutional kind of a learning system? So what's your take on that?
I wouldn't really say fear. I do have an idea of that it's going to be very different from the way I've been learning so far.
Yeah, that whole adjustment or whatever, however you relate to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say fear, but I will have to maybe make changes in the way I go about learning. Maybe have more scheduled times. I don't really have a fixed schedule as of now. So things will have to change, and I'm sure I will do that. What about Maahir and Aloka?
I have gone to school till the 4th grade, so I have a good sense of what happens. So no, I don't think I'm scared.
Okay.
I am actually, I actually asked my mom if I can home college, but then she was like, no, you can't. So I was pretty sad about that. But no, I'm not scared actually. Changes have to happen, and when you grow up, you
This
eventually.
is a change in a positive direction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are
Great.
homeschoolers who don't go to college. They create jobs for themselves.
Mhm.
So there are homeschoolers who don't go to college either.
Right. So you never know, your plans might eventually also change, right?
Exactly.
Like you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. We just have a question from Miss Indrani Bordler. She wants to know, don't you get bored being at home for all days? Holidays are coveted when there are busy days. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I would say yes. I do get bored, but I think boredom is the time when you come up with the most interesting things to do. But yeah, there are times. Aloka, what about you?
Yeah, I also get, no, actually these days I don't get bored. I have so much to do, so everything is just, it keeps me busy.
Maahir?
Everyone gets bored, but most of the time I'm not bored because I have stuff to do, but sometimes I get bored.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, so just a question, when we talk about boredom, it's like, there is nothing to do, or like we procrastinate. But from what I understand, you Aloka and Maahir, especially when you say, it seems like you have made an effort towards, creating new things for yourself, or like, if I'm not mistaken, you have extracurricular, like you bake and you learn tabla, you have grasp for languages. So like, you know uh, when you say children of your age who goes to school and being bored, how do you see that? Are you getting my point? Like, being homeschooler, you say you are not actually bored, you have lots of stuff, whereas like children who goes to school, they are always bored, or get into social media. So how do you see the difference, or the positivity of homeschooling in this matter?
I think homeschooling is more flexible, so you can make activities for yourself. I mean, if you're bored, you can do anything. You can go learn something new. You can learn a new skill. You can read books. You can play sports. You can do, like, you never get bored.
There are so many different things to do, to learn, play games, all sorts of things to do. I think what happens is that in school, maybe it's because there's such a tight schedule and you're always super, super busy, always on the run to next class, homework, tuition, all those sorts of things, that when you finally get free time, you don't want to maybe invest yourself in now learning something new, doing something new. So but I think since we don't have such a tight packed schedule, it changes, and you want to now learn new things, and you want to try out new, bake and read books, write, do art, all sorts of things.
Right. As I'm talking to the three of you, what I'm also sensing very importantly is the fact that homeschooling is something which also comes with a lot of responsibility. You have to really understand it. You have to really value it, right? So, at the same time, on the other hand, for the general mass, do you think it is something where anybody and everybody could just, take up homeschooling?
No, not anybody can just homeschool.
Yeah,
Everyone
why do you think so? Just elaborate on that. Could you elaborate on that, Aloka? You
I
just
think
froze there.
There's some issue with Aloka's
Yeah.
connectivity. Yeah.
Aloka, we just lost you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was I saying?
why
Yeah,
is
no, homeschooling is not for everybody, because
Right.
everybody is different. They have their own different lives. So you've got to think about it, and you've got to decide then.
And it has to be a very conscious decision, right?
Yes, very well thought through.
Well
And
thought
like,
out.
I just want to add in case of Shamili and Aloka, I think you both have come from overseas, right? Like from Shamili, it's US and Aloka, Singapore. So do you think like you're shifting from a very developed country and coming to India, getting used to that Indian education system was a bit harder, or like, it's not up to the expectation of both your parents?
I don't know. I was a baby then.
Okay. Okay.
Shamli and Maahir, could you touch upon the last question just a little bit? If homeschooling, whether you think it's for everyone, and how do you see that?
Yeah, so sort of like what Aloka said, that everybody learns in a different way. For some people,
Mm-hmm.
it's a better learning environment. For some people, they would like more freedom, more decision-making power. And also, I think we are very privileged. We have educated parents who also have the time to spend with us at home.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely. That's a very important
I do
factor.
definitely think that also factors in to
Sure.
how we are able to homeschool. Right.
Mm.
Maahir, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think it depends from person to person. Like if you like a tight schedule and you're not very good at sticking to you're not very good at being responsible with your own time. I mean, school's good for you then. So you have to choose. It's different.
Right. Maybe we can take a few questions here. We have some questions pouring in. We have a question from Shanta Barwa Borkotuke. She asks you, in school, kids need to study all the subjects that's in the syllabus, at least until 10th standard. But with homeschooling, did they get to choose only the subjects they like? And if yes, how did they select or how did they decide which subjects they would like to take? So it's basically about the subjects, and how do you make the decision of choosing your subjects?
I think by the time I reached 10th grade, I sort of had an idea of what sort of things I like. I like math and physics. And in 10th grade, there were some requirements that you have to take a math, one science, one language. So I took physics, chemistry, and biology because I think all of them interest me. And even I hadn't done much of biology, but I learned that I really like biology. For 11th and 12th grade, I could choose absolutely anything. There weren't any requirements. So I guess I went off of whatever I really enjoyed in 10th grade and carried on with that. And Maahir and Aloka, how are you going to decide?
So yeah, like you said, so up till a certain grade, you have to study everything on the list, which I think I did mostly. I mean, like if I didn't, let's say, like a certain subject, I didn't study it as much as the others, but I still did study it. But now I study some subjects a little less than the others. So like for example, maths, I study those a lot because I find those really fun.
Aloka?
Yeah. So right now I study everything, yeah, just like he said. But when I'm older, I don't know about what I'm gonna do when I'm older. I'm just gonna go with the flow right now.
Okay, we have a question about how do you assess your progress when you are with peers? You learn many things. That's, I think, a question we've already touched upon. Basically, life skills outside the syllabus and how that gap can be filled in your case. I think you guys have already touched upon the latter half of the question. So, just could you talk about the assessment procedure? What is the process of evaluation? So, you mentioned you follow a certain board, the ICSC. In your case?
I follow IGCSE for it's Cambridge board.
GCSE, correct. Sorry, yeah. Aloka and Maahir?
Yeah, I follow the IGCSE board as well. I don't have all the books yet, but we should have them soon. So, and evaluation. So I take lots, like, every book you buy comes with a quiz or a test, and there's lots of quizzes and tests online, exams, so to say. And Papa makes exams, yearly exams for me. on everything I've studied, and I get marked. So then I know where what my weak points are, and I can strengthen those as well.
Okay. Aloka?
Oh yeah, I do NCRT, and yeah, so I also do my studies online, and I usually focus on math and English because I love them both. So I do the things I love more.
Great. Milin has a question. Milin is asking, do you have more fun with other homeschoolers or with friends from regular school? Or does it, I mean, it just doesn't matter at all? And do you think for an extrovert, homeschooling is easy or it's difficult? Or it varies from person to person?
I think for the friends question, after a certain point, it doesn't really make a difference since they're all friends. Maybe when you meet school going friends, initially they ask you about homeschooling, but after a point, that's not important anymore. So I wouldn't really say I have a preference. Maybe they're a bit different type of people, but I would say all friends are just friends. Sorry, what was the other question? About extroversion.
Yeah. If you're an extroverted person, is it easy or difficult?
I'm not really sure. I would assume that for extroverted people, it's more important to have a social circle. In the cities, I think it gets pretty hard to do homeschooling in big cities since you don't really meet people that live nearby you and you don't go to school. So your social circle becomes very small. Even though there are a lot of people, it seems counterintuitive, but I think that has happened with a lot of my friends who are homeschoolers who live in cities.
All right.
Maahir and Aloka, what do you guys think?
So extroverts can be homeschoolers. Actually, I'm an extrovert. I love making friends. I can make friends with anybody and everybody. But you do need some, me time. So you got to balance that out.
So, Maahir?
Yeah, I'm an extrovert too. I think it varies from person to person.
Person to person. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's time we open the floor for open questions. So you can just directly unmute yourself and raise your hand and directly ask question to our speakers.
Before any audience question comes up, I have a question to all three of you. What are your plans? Like, do you know what you want to take up as career at later stage in life?
No.
Right now, I'm considering vet, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
Still thinking. Okay. Yeah. Maahir and Shamli?
I think for me right now, a milestone is to be enrolled in college. I don't have a plan on what I want to do in my future. There are certain things that I like more. I like math, I like education, I like game design, I like science. So, I mean, I would want things to be something around these topics, but I don't really have a plan.
That's interesting because when you talk about game designing, from what I understand, it's a very mathematical concept. So, are you by any chance interested to get into engineering or mathematical where you study game theory and all?
Oh, I don't really know much about game theory yet. Maybe that would be interesting.
Okay.
But mathematics, definitely.
Okay. I have got something to ask you. See, I teach in a school in class 12. When the class 12 children are bid farewell, they weep a lot. They have such a bonding with their classmates. They study in that school for 12 years together. Means all the children. And when they are bid farewell, they feel very sad to leave. that bonding, don't you think that you will be missing out for your whole life? You will never ever have any bonding with any of your friends.
But why would we not have bonding?
Do you have that sort of friends with whom you all are so close?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
your locality or
Yeah.
where?
Yeah, everywhere.
Are they also homeschoolers or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Both ways, homeschoolers and
Both.
not.
Okay.
I think
This also,
just like anybody else, we also have close friends, very, very close
Mhm.
friends as well. Just like anybody.
Okay. I think this also relates to another question that came up, which is, do you see when you interact with children who go to regular schools, do you see any difference in behavior, or how easy or difficult is it to gel with people?
The difference would be that they're always talking about, we have this exam, I have to study this many hours this day. Whereas homeschoolers are like, they're chill. They have schedules, but they're still relaxed.
Okay.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Go
Hello.
ahead.
Yes. Actually, this question is for Maahir and Aloka, because Shamli hasn't been to school, but Aloka and Maahir had been to school for a few years, right? So, but at the idea of homeschooling, both were very happy, it seems. So, what did you dislike the most about schools? I mean, even as a kid, I would tell you, if I didn't like school, if somebody had suggested that I can stay at home, I would have also have jumped at the idea. So, like, what was the thing that you disliked so much about school that made you so happy when that thing came up about homeschooling? I mean, now that you look back, actually, did it make sense? Even now, does it make sense? Like that you were so happy about leaving school and doing homeschooling? You get my question? I mean,
Yeah.
वो क्या था जो अच्छा नहीं लगता था स्कूल जाने में? So what was that?
Maybe it
The
was like,
routine.
yeah, maybe it was every day you have to wake up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock and then go to school and then stay there for I don't know how long, and then come back and then do homework, and then you have very less free time left. So maybe it was less free time.
So like Aloka was saying that you chill, so it is more relaxed, stress free.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Is homeschooling stress free? Is it really stress free?
What do you think?
You need to take exams or not, like the regular schools? What about exams?
One important thing in homeschooling is you don't need to do anything.
Okay. It's flexible in those terms.
Yes,
Okay.
very flexible, and you sort of, your mindset changes. You're more relaxed about everything because you don't have externally set deadlines. You make those for yourself. No external structure, no external push on to have to do things. They're all
Right.
your own. You make it,
Here,
you make your structure. You do all of those things on your own.
yeah, Shamili, I just have a question. When you say like homeschooling is much more chill and calm down, so do you see your school going friends to have that additional extra pressure?
Yeah.
And like how do they deal with the pressure thing, and how do you contribute to them, like in to bring that pressure of school, or how do they interact with you, like what is their condition or their state, and how do they handle, and how you help them to handle the whole situation of that additional school pressure of whether curriculum, test, performance? So how do you see those situations?
Yeah, I do see them have to go. You do homework, you do schoolwork, you do tuition, all sorts of things. And then I do see them lose interest, not be interested in subjects. Maybe initially they liked math, but by the time they reach 10th grade, the exams are so stressful, they don't like it anymore. So I do see that happen. And
but now that you are planning to go to college, maybe you will also have to face that kind of stress.
Yes, I
Are you
have.
good?
I have thought about that, and many people told me that.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking initially. That shift now that will happen for you.
But
So
there are
how
different
prepared
types
are
of
you?
colleges. There are different types of colleges.
Sure.
Some colleges have a different sort of
More
outlook
flexible
on
systems. Yeah.
education. Yeah, and they have more flexible, more system where you can design your own courses, choose things you want to do, how you want to do, work on your own projects. And things like that.
Is it in India, like the college that you
Yeah.
plan to attend?
Yes,
Okay.
most of the
Can you
things.
share about it? It sounds very interesting. Maybe it might help others also to understand that, okay, you
Yeah.
can self-design your course and everything in
Yeah,
college
for
also.
example, Azim Premji University in Bangalore, they have a lot of focus on as well, like your own designing your some part of your curriculum. And Ashoka University in Haryana, and then there's Kriya University in Chennai. They're liberal arts colleges, which means that they have more. They don't focus on you just doing one subject. They want you to study all sorts of different things and see what things do you like, design how you want to go about doing it.
I have to ask you something. Don't you think that by taking stress, they are learning also? They are getting compulsion for learning, and that way they are learning more than the others. One will have to work hard in life. One will have to, take some stress
I
to
mean,
learn.
stress leads to some kind of yeah, that's a positive stress, which is, in psychological terms, we call it eustress, minimum amount of stress which is required for you to perform. In that sense, what do you think? Is stress really that bad?
Well, I'm sure it's different for different people. I'm sure there is such thing as positive stress, but for my friends, a lot of friends I have seen that stress doesn't do them good. I think it's more you enjoy your learning more if you want to do it, and if the motivation comes from you rather than a teacher or a parent or somebody else telling you that you need to learn this. Maahir and Aloka, what do you both think about this?
I think if you're interested, you learn more, learn better, maybe.
Aloka?
Yeah, sorry. So if someone is like studying for an exam and they have stress, I personally feel that they start cramming. So cramming is not learning. So that's when it's just not healthy for the brain.
But when you learn, when you like, when you progress in your learning, some things you'll have to learn by heart. Some things you will have to understand and then solve. In that way, the learning takes place.
But I don't think
all
learning.
the things.
I don't think learning should come at the cost of being happy, being relaxed.
But children are usually playful. Children are in general, they are playful. If they are given liberty to take their own time to study, they may not study even. Maybe you all are blessed with educated, very intelligent parents, and that is why you all are,
yeah, so as
made to be focused.
Definitely not something that everybody can do. Different people have different types of families. We all have educated parents.
Yes.
We're really lucky that way. So homeschooling doesn't work for everyone, and many people work better in school environments where there is external structure.
Yeah, I think very importantly, we need to really understand and factor in that all families are also not the same. Family plays a very crucial role, I think, because it is also something, where we need to talk about families which are conflicted, perhaps, where something as homeschooling may not necessarily work, where the child will definitely not get the support. So it's also something that comes with privilege and that much of understanding on part of the parents.
Yes. And maybe parents of these 3 children, they have enough of time to give to their children, but it cannot be same for other parents. Usually fathers cannot give so much of time. Mothers, if they happen to be housewives, they can give some time, but not all the mothers, even if extended family is there. So much constraints come in giving time to the children.
Aloka, is your mother near you?
No, actually, she's just downstairs. Should I call her?
No, that's fine. Maybe your mom could have answered this question. So, like we are almost coming to the end. So, if someone comes to you with the query of, should I homeschool or not? Maybe the setup that you have, maybe they are not very blessed with it. But do you think you will suggest people in urban spaces to have more schooling? Like it's just a personal observation you'd like to share with us?
I'm here if you want to ask me anything. I'm here.
Yeah, ma'am, like we just had Indrani Bordole, ma'am. She's an educator from Delhi. So she was asking, like, in homeschool, everyone may not have the privilege of taking up homeschooling. Maybe you are an educator, Shamli's parents are, they are into education. So and the economic privileges they have, and maybe, the family structure may be very different. Like, some might come from a very disturbed family situation. Yeah, broken family, if you say single parents, everyone may not have the privilege of time, resources, or energy to do it. But you being a single mom, you have taken it up. Do you think it is possible for people to take it up?
I think economic privilege isn't the only factor.
Yeah.
It's sort of a mindset that it takes for a whole family to.
And the commitment for doing it, right?
Yeah, I think it's more of a change of mindset than just.
But in general, children are very playful. Even the liberty to study on their own, even the schedule, even if the schedule is prepared.
But why is playful bad?
Playful means they don't like to study. They would prefer to go on playing other than study. That way it will not work. What do you think?
There is a reason why they have come to that state where they think learning is just something I don't want to do at all. And that reason perhaps is the way it's done in school. But the way we have learned is not in a way that we end up not liking learning. We have learned in a way that we love to learn. We love to learn new things. So the reason the kids you are saying in school don't want to learn has a background to it.
That's a wonderful point, Shamli.
Very, very nicely put. In fact, I mean, yeah, that's how the overall approach to how we see or look at education per se or learning in that sense. I think very nicely put, Shamli.
Yes, that is because you are blessed with very intelligent parents.
Yeah, I think, ma'am, that's what they have been trying to say, that it's not for everyone. So we have to take into consideration the family context and where we come from and whether the parents would be able to give that much of commitment. So it comes with a lot of other subjectivities, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, Aloka, can your mom answer that question? Hello?
Yeah.
Aloka, will your mom like to answer to that?
Yeah, I think Shamli said it very nicely. And I've seen the change in Aloka. Earlier with schoolwork, we just discussed this morning, she would want to bunk school. Exams, when the exams were there, there was a whole lot of cramming, as she herself said. So it was a very different way of dealing with the learning. I personally didn't see any interest in anything that she was studying. Whereas now, I mean, it's not as if that I have so much time that I can sit with her. In fact, I don't sit with her at all. So yes, initially the first year, my presence, my time was important. But actually within a year, I just moved out of the entire her study business. It's hers. So yes, it's to do with the fact that I think Aloka also said it. I was listening to this video outside. So she did say that, it is her own. If she starts to like it, then I have no role to play, actually. So yeah, the privilege is there that I have time. The privilege is that I work from home anyway. I work in the online world, so I'm at home. But actually, I'm not needed. So in the two or 3 hours when she's studying, she's doing it by herself. So initial push, yes. I think all of us, parents, Mahir's parents, Shamli's, and myself included here, we all had to be home and we had to have the time. But very soon I resumed my regular life, which is independent of Aloka's. So it is, she loves studying. If she does something, it's because she has taken onus for doing it and not because I have asked her. That shift took us about 6 to 8 months, in which my presence was needed. Now I don't even know what she's doing. It's totally her own decision. She chose to learn Korean, it's her decision. She chose to learn German, it's her decision. She wants to play tabla same way. Initially I encouraged her, but now it's on her own. When it comes to math or other subjects, she takes responsibilities. She has decided that, this is what I want to finish in this year. And I'm in class 7 and I'll finish all my books, and that's her decision. So yes, the privilege is there, but the change is so important. It's so good that, now it's like I have my time myself once again. So I'm getting out. It's a children's call.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Milind. Milind, I see him raise his hand. Milind, please go ahead.
Yes, I have few questions to Shamli. So now, since you took your first exam, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So was it, were you nervous, or was, you said that, you never took stress. So when you take the exam and you have to finish a certain question in certain amount of time, was it stressful? How was it? How was your experience taking an exam?
I personally had a great time. I enjoyed all of my exams. I enjoyed studying for them. I enjoyed practicing. I enjoyed doing the exams. I prepped myself a lot initially when I started prepping myself for the exams, I took too much time to think about things, but I got myself into the time limit and the exams went great. I was able to do everything in time. I think given my preparation, it works out.
So it was not stressful for you, like,
I wouldn't say no.
Okay. All right. And then
Shamli, can you hear me?
Regarding college.
I think there's a lag. Yeah.
Yeah. Regarding college, I know that you have option of going to US and also in India. Of course, there's so many liberal colleges out there. How did you make a decision that I think now you are more towards India? What is your process, whether to go abroad or study here, and what is your, how do you think? I think you are going more towards Indian college. So I would like to know about your
We lost
process.
Shamli.
All right. So I will ask this question now to Maahir. One question I have, like some people are very structured. Like I like to be structured. Like I like routine. I have to get up certain time. Shamli, I'll be back with you. I'm asking Maahir. I like structure, meaning that, if I will sleep till 8 o'clock if I don't have to. But if I have to go to a class at 6 o'clock, then I will get up and, go. So I'm more motivated by external thing, So, and I'm thinking about if I have unstructured, like I can do anything in the day. I do not know if I'm motivated to get up early morning, self, promote or, push myself. So in that case, I think I'm just thinking if I were homeschooling or people like me, who is not, self-motivated, but who need structure, do you think they can perform in homeschooling?
I mean, if you make a schedule for yourself or a timetable, or I mean, you have to push yourself. Like there are lazy times, like early in the morning, no one wants to get up, but you'll feel better once you're up. So you just have to give a little push.
Thank you. And Shamli,
Melinda,
my question was, how, what is your thinking process of choosing college? US versus India, and what was your what is going on in your head while thinking about school
What is going on?
or
So
college? Yeah.
since I have learned so far in a way where I design much of my learning, that is one big factor. I want to go to a college where I still have a bit of control over how I learn, what I learn, those sorts of things. I think of the subjects that I'm interested in. US versus India, I haven't thought too much about that. I would more like to be in India since India is home. I haven't given that too much thought. I'm more focused on India.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so the three of you, before we wrap up, any final closing remarks you would like to say? Any thought? Aloka, yes. Any final comment from you guys about homeschooling or anything? Anything you would want to share as a
Or
closing
any kind of
remark?
messages you want to share with?
Yeah,
like,
any message for students who are currently, homeschooling in that sense, studying at home. So anything you would like to say before we close and call it today?
I think now everybody's homeschooling. Everybody's at home in the time of
Right.
Corona.
I feel that people after this lockdown and everything is just okay, then some parents might just consider homeschooling. I feel.
and
Yeah.
Mahi?
Yeah, I think homeschooling is not for everyone. That's one thing. And not
Mhm.
everyone can homeschool, probably.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But I think those who are thinking about it and those who would find it interesting idea, I think they should definitely look into it.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have.
Meenakshiva, you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's really been a very different session in comparison to all the sessions that we've had in the past. Lot of things to take away from this session. I personally learned a lot, completely different subject matter for me personally, and it was really great engaging with the three of you. So I really wish you all the best in whatever decision you take for your future, and wishing you the best and good luck. And we hope to stay in touch, and for our future sessions also, maybe we'll keep inviting you on and off. Good luck. Thanks for agreeing to be part of this webinar today. Thank you once again, and thanks everyone for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Shamli. Thank you, Aloka and Maahir, and hope we can have future engagement and know about how you are doing.
Thank you so
Good
much for
luck.
having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Stay
Bye.
safe. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.